Finally, after all this running around, after Whiteface chasing me, her chasing me, which I think is just Whiteface, but everything that's going on, after those loud ass screams Whiteface was giving me just moments ago, I think this is it. I think this is finally the end. I think I'm finally here. But that scared the end. Is that is that really it? Oh, I see they've added a couple landmarks or two, I guess, with Whiteface supposedly being gone. I'm not sure if I'm fully convinced yet, but everything seems to be good so far. Oh yeah, look at that. Even the market's open. Like fully open or just went into it, seems. Oh, I wonder if everything is back to normal. I wonder if that's really the end of the game. What is that in the distance? My god, I'm not done yet. Before we begin, I need to put a major disclosure up. I spoil this ARG rotten. I get detailed with the steps, the clues, and everything in between. I figure with remnants of a Scares demo being released that it's time to fully crack open this ARG. With that said, I highly recommend you try to get through the ARG yourself. It has to be done on the Steam edition, as mobile does not include any of the ARG content. This video is not going anywhere. I'll give you 3 seconds to pause the video and go explore on your own. With this warning out the way, let's take a dive into the ARG of I'm Scared. I'm Scared is an indie horror game created by Ivan Zanotti. It was originally a short 10-minute experience that blew up in 2012. In 2016, it got an extended release on Steam called I'm Scared Steam Edition. It had one final major release via an update in 2022 that modernized the game a bit. 60 FPS, different sound options, 1080p, and more. However, there was one addition to this update that, to this day, goes unnoticed. When you enter the loneliness state of the game, after deleting Whiteface's heart, something new appears. If you're like me, then you wandered around the newly lit world both to see all these locations in a new light, literally, as well as to see if that truly was the end. You may have also missed something that appears in your I'm Scared folder when in one area in particular. If you enter street from basement and go to the right cage, you'll see something pop up in your I'm Scared folder. You can enter street from the car park as well, just go to the left cage instead of the right one. Inside your I'm Scared folder, you'll see a note document titled ! Opening it reveals the message, "Have we met? Prove it." If you don't know what I'm talking about, search for me in here. That here is a link to the 2022 test build of I'm Scared Steam Edition. It's basically all of the pixelated Nightmare chapter, but with the new modernized settings that the full game got in 2022. As for the message, this entity wants us to find them in that 2022 test build. We do this by first getting to the house segment, progress like normal until opening door 2. Once inside, check your I'm Scared folder, and you'll see a text file named drift.txt. Open it and you'll be prompted with a 5-letter word that you need to manually fill in. The first character of the word is given to you. The full word is sure. Save the text file and return to the test build. You'll see that your surroundings are a little brighter. Go to the front door of house to see that it opens to a stairway upon interacting with it. From here, your objective is to collect moons via zooming into them with your camera. You'll know you got them all because upon getting the last one, your surroundings will return to darkness. Make your way downstairs to the floor below house and interact with the door. Do not be in too much of a rush though. If you hear a cat on your way down, then I suggest you stop and try to find it for a moment. You won't need to look long. On the other side of the door, you'll be in what's called the archive. Once more, you have an objective, but this time you're given a hint. In your I'm Scared folder, you'll see a text document called sure.txt. Follow the clue by turning off the light switches in the order the note hints at. If done correctly, you'll be greeted with this. So this whole thing will be, oop, this place is so lonely. I missed you so much. Let's play one last time. So, do you know my name? So, if you just happen to stumble into this, you may think that this is Whiteface, and you can put in Whiteface, and you'll get a reaction. But if you know who this is, you can also type in their name, Restorer. And that's a kind of different reaction. I'm gonna type her name in. Oh god, I still have caps lock on. Actually, I'm gonna do Whiteface, because I like a lot of videos I've seen people do restore my face. You get the laugh, but then you get her laugh. Hi. I'm afraid not. It was me all along. What do you think about my whiteface imitation? I fell for it. Hope you like the small detour. There's so much things I want to show you. I need more time though. Now get back to the game's reproduction. You're almost done. See you soon. That is what we needed. We're just gonna finish the demo here because fuck it, we can. After this, you'll be brought back to normal house, and all you can do is finish the test build. With the entity found in the test build, we can return to the full game. In your I'm Scared folder, there's a new document called Drift. Go to Street where we did before. You can now see something off in the distance. This is the same entity. She's the entity that wrote the initial note to go find her. Now that you can see her, you'll open up that document. That is a y-axis editor. Change the number up to y equals, and you'll be put in the coordinates within the game while the game is open. Change it to whatever, approach her, and interact with her. While writing this, I completely forgot that Restorer has a TikTok. While it seems to serve as a place to give us teasers about remnants, there was one video that did hint at the ARG. Remnants and whatnot, but one of these videos here... And no, there's no sound, so I'm not turning on desktop audio, but... Just a little teaser video here of her standing where she's standing now. I guess to kind of give players a teaser about like what to look for or where to try to look for her to start this whole thing. I'll leave the TikTok channel link below if you are interested. She'll write you one more note document before she starts to talk to you in-game. She introduces herself as Restorer and that she's breached the game's canon. She studied the inner workings of the loneliness state of the game and has a plan. From here she speaks to you in-game via the pause menu. She leads you back to the normal street area and wants you to meet her in the car park. From there, you need to follow her directions. While she does say to take your time, be sure not to take too much of her time. You'll eventually come across a door which leads to the archive. She officially welcomes you to the archive, acknowledging how bare it is. She then wants to get down to business. Now, let's talk business. Let's talk evil plans. No, wait. Before that, I need to ask you something, and beware. Choose wisely, for it is irreversible. Haha, just joking. The thing is, what do you want most? To scare or to be scared? This actually kind of matters because the option you choose changes the dialogue with her, like future interactions with her, a little bit. And I'm sure in Remnants of a Scare, it'll majorly play a role there, because it reads your I'm Scared folder to see if you have the card or the badge. As I've done every time, I want to scare. Give me my worker card. Which is this little thing right here, but I made a backup of all my stuff in case I messed up doing all this again somehow. Oh god. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, look at that. Poorly placed Neo face right there. Look at that, I'm a worker. Proud worker. Great, I knew it. You've earned the Speedy. It's a worker card. Do you like it? Remember, don't move the file nor lose it, or rename it. When the time comes, bring that card with you to access the backstage. But Restorer, backstage of what? First thing first, dear. My plan consists of 3 phases. First phase, develop a perfect copy of I'm Scared. The goal is to give non-computer players a chance to live the experience. I'm talking about consoles and smartphones. Android got smartphones! I have no idea if iOS has ever gotten it, or if Ivan was never able to make that work. Ivan cannot afford to curse those platforms' user base. A sentient program that takes possession of your device would violate the terms of agreement. Does it? Is there a TOS about a sentient entity cursing your device? Is that in any TOS? I really want to know. That's why I'm taking care of it. I'm Scared is already available on Android devices, and I'm working for a new release. Oh, look at that. She actually says it. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay. Well, hey, new footage for me as well here. I didn't know she said that. I'll replicate the entire experience and I'll bring it here and there. But Restorer, why do you care about consoles? All part of the plan. Let me get to that. With our replica hitting other systems, I'm Scared will gain popularity. That's where we commence phase 2, the attraction. With your help, I'll populate this place with players. I will educate them about this place's secrets. I will guide them through I'm Scared areas to tell them about the curse that once was. I want to be a tour guide. I'm Scared's tour guide. This was the original idea I had to breach into the story's canon. But then I came out with the plan. And then I came out with Phase 3. Sorry, but it's really too soon to talk about that. Pay me a visit every now and then. If I need you for something, I'll let you know in the updates release notes. I never knew where these update release notes were kept. I have no idea where these patch notes were placed. There is one thing I can tell you before I go. You know, there's a way to turn an entity into data, and I found it. I'll fill this loneliness. I'll give players the sequel they are longing for. Let's make this game a profitable entry. See you soon then. She then asks you a critical question. What do you want most, to scare or to be scared? Your answer does matter, as future interactions with her will change. Also, it's very probable that what you get to do and or where you get to go in Remnants of a Scare is dependent on your answer here. Choosing to scare grants you a worker card in your I'm Scared folder. Choosing to be scared grants you a VIP badge in your I'm Scared folder. I chose to scare, so I am a worker, but this video will contain footage of both interaction variants when they would pop up. I'll put a blank worker card or VIP badge up on screen when unique interactions come up for either. Also, yes, you can technically have both in your I'm Scared folder. Also, yes, Restorer does not like that and will kick you out of the archive until you delete one. With that question out of the way, Restorer goes on to her plan. Her first step is to develop a perfect copy of I'm Scared. She wants to bring the game to consoles and mobile, so more people know about what Whiteface did to the in-game world. Android users got I'm Scared Mobile almost 2 years ago, which is incredible and arguably the best version of the game, but the goal is for all platforms to have it. Ideally, the more people that can play it, the more popular it'll get. That's where Restorer Step 2 comes into play, the attraction. To put it plainly, Restorer wants to be a tour guide for the world that's currently in the loneliness state. He'll essentially recreate parts of the main game and take players through this attraction to show them and tell them about Whiteface's curse. That's where her Step 3 comes into play. She will not tell us the step yet. It's too soon to reveal more about her plan, but she does leave us with one final message. There's a way to turn an entity into data, and I found it. She wants to make I'm Scared's loneliness game state a profitable entry. Then she vanishes. This Restorer has somehow found a way to turn an entity into computer data. What exactly that means is unknown, but maybe that cat in the 2022 test build has something to do with this. At this point, you're free to explore the archive, though it really is bare bones. More bare bones than the test build's archive. If you go to house from the stairway and go outside, you can see a carnival-looking thing in the distance. This is the fabled attraction that Restorer had just mentioned. You cannot go there though, not yet. You can also go to the roof. Restorer is up there looking at the attraction. She wants us to follow her downstairs. When we do... Can you see that? Do you know what that is? Oh. It's nothing. It's a flat sprite. Oh, I love that. It's got the Doom thing going. Just like me. That's fair, that's fair. Oh, you're doing the Doom thing as well. I thought it would be fun to mock VIP players with it. I'll tell them that it's the nefarious attraction. Let's make them believe there is something hidden in here. Tell them you've seen the attraction, a ghost, a cat, or I don't know, just come up with something. You people are good at decompiling stuff, entering inaccessible areas, or modding the 2012 version, no? Yeah, no, definitely not. I'm gonna put your filthy peeper brain to work. It will be fun, and it's also a test of trust, if you think about it. Let's see how many of you are cheaters. I'll go and get some fresh air now. Touch some grass and such, you know? See you later, partner. Once she vanishes, she's gone from the archive. You will not find her there anymore for the time being. However, this is where the ARG really begins. Once Restorer vanishes in house, you will not get much of a clue just from running around on what to do next. I got lucky in finding the next clue, and even if I did not, I think I would have stumbled into the next piece anyway, because I was already on my way to said piece's location. The two clues you can find are both in basement. The first clue is that the painting of the girl that hangs on the wall at the end of basement is gone. The other clue can be seen if you pause. Flashing between the normal pause text is the phrase, "I also took Penelope." Now, these are not really clues as to where to go next. Instead, this is more like motivation to keep exploring, as you're clearly not done yet. Our next destination is the labyrinth. If you pause when in the labyrinth map, the "I took Penelope" text will not be there, but do not let that dissuade you. We will want to go into the hedge maze and make our way to the most northeastern corner, assuming north is facing the entrance to the hedge maze, with your back facing the basement entrance. As you make your way through the hedge maze, the game will periodically pause on its own to show you new messages. Oh dear. Looks like someone has borrowed the pretty red leaf statue. Who could possibly have been? And finally, me. Now, right before the "who could possibly have been" message, you'll see the culprit. But even if you did not know, it's pretty obvious who was sending these messages and who took the statue. She probably also took Penelope. Time to confront her. Go up there and interact with her. Doing so minimizes the game and gives you an error message. That error message is part of an unlisted video URL. You'll copy the error message and paste it in a video's URL after the equal sign. For example, you can click on any video in your recommended feed, go up to the URL, and anything after the equal that shows up, a few characters after watch sign, you'll replace with this error code. This leads you to the next step in this ARG, and the real first ARG part of this. The video we're led to is named Hijack. Not a lot to visually go on, right? The video itself gives us a clue. The focus of audio, noises, etc. before the moon at the end is a clue to put this through a spectrogram. The moon part does not really give us anything, but the beginning does. What do we do with this? We found a faceless restorer in the labyrinth. It sends us to an unlisted video with a hidden audio message, and now we've decoded the message. Let's hop back in the game for a minute. If we go back to the archive, we'll find Restorer there, facing the room with all the pipes. As we approach, she speaks to us. Oh, hi. Say, does all of this bore you? I can see how the situation could be seen as weird and repetitive, but there's very little that can be done with the dead world. I wanted to be more present while moving in these last months, but I feared it could have been just a waste of time for both of us. Hey, I could be wrong in any case. I'm almost done. Soon, only VIP badge and worker card holders will have access to this place. Loneliness will turn back as it was in the beginning, and the secret reality of ours will become even more secret. I can hardly wait. As for you all, try not to check this time, okay? Cheat this time. Try not to cheat this time, okay? Hang in there. Once again, she vanishes, and you'll notice that the room she was facing is now locked. Is there any correlation? When it comes to I'm Scared, the meta part of the game focuses on the I'm Scared folder that's created on your desktop. Whiteface and Restorer alike use this folder to interact with you in various ways. Even the original Pixelated Nightmare back in 2012 did this, so naturally you would think everything would be in there. That is not the case. There is another folder that we now need to keep an eye on. Within the Steam installation of I'm Scared, there is a folder named Branch. Inside it is a single square blank PNG named Does It. We want to take that PNG and, like the loneliness state of the game, show it the light of day within an image editor. Hidden in this image is a QR code. Scanning the QR code reveals a link to an itch.io page. There's a problem though. The contents of the page are password protected. Thankfully, we already have it. This is where the spectrogram results come into play. Typing in "Penelope does not exist" in all caps with no spaces reveals the page. Within the page are several downloadable files. These end up being 4 video files, a text file, and a WIN file. The video files individually come in a RAR folder, with all of them being password protected. The attraction.win file and the game changer file are not password protected. These two go in very particular spots. Game changer goes in your desktop I'm Scared folder. This is the key to the archive door that's on the itch.io page. Attraction.win goes inside the branch folder next to the doesit PNG file. This is the branching ... file on the itch.io page that serves as a clue on where that file goes. So funny enough, actually, the branching ... was recently replaced with different text saying in all caps, but this goes into the branch folder. Maybe it wasn't obvious enough. I don't know. Previous streams and footage of this game show that it says branching ... but I guess I haven't changed it at some point. Maybe people were too confused about where this goes. But yeah, just wanted to give a little heads up. Game Changer lets us open the pipe room door Restorer locked. Inside the room, we see the red leaf statue that Restorer took from the labyrinth. Attraction.win lets us interact with the statue. Now entering the attraction. Of course not, silly. You should know by now that this is a game of wait, so keep waiting. Meanwhile, we can play a different little game. One in which you won't be able to see a thing. And in exchange, I'll give you the password you're looking for. The rules are simple. You're stuck inside an old, damp cottage. You need to get out. Feel the floor by walking. You feel your surroundings by knocking. Right-click, you'll knock on walls and touch everything else. Interact with left-click. Be sure to know what you're interacting with before doing so. You can also knock with spacebar, interact with E, and turn around with left-right arrow keys, should you feel more comfortable that way. I prefer the former. There is no save system, so you better do this when you have some time to spare. Are you ready? Have fun! Yeah. This minigame has been dubbed the blind game by the community. You have to wander around this environment purely by sound, touch, and occasional sight, as parts of the environment do light up the darkness a tiny bit. Your objective, as Restorer says, is to leave. You need to find items to use on environmental props to progress forward. It's split up into 3 segments, with each segment rewarding you with a set of characters. These are the passcodes needed to unzip the RAR files. Like I said earlier, these RAR files contain a single video. I'll play the ones within C1 through C3. C1 is interesting as it seems to be from inside the archive, but instead of those front doors leading to the extended car park, it just seems to lead outside. It's also snowing. C2 is a location we have yet to see in-game, a set of corridors with signs that supposedly point to in-game locations we do know. Where this could be is anyone's guess. C3 is even more mysterious. Outside locations with snow piling up, more corridors we're unfamiliar with, and a shot of the moon that I can't help but think looks like Pac-Man. But what do these videos mean? What's their purpose? We see locations both familiar and unfamiliar. Snow is a heavy theme, both visually and metaphorically, with the videos being called Cold 1, 2, and 3. Maybe this is what's to come if nothing else is done with this world. Restorer did say she wants to see life here. Maybe she knows more than she lets on. There's an unused snow map that you can spawn in using the white.ini file. Maybe that's related. Ultimately, I think these videos are just teasers for remnants of a scare. At the time of writing this, the demo has been out for a while. I both streamed it and made a condensed video of the whole demo if you're interested, but can't take the plunge yourself. But what about the VIPs only RAR file? Well, it would be inconsistent of me to not show it, considering I've shown both VIP and worker dialogues with Restorer, so here it is. Also, there's other videos showing this, so I think it's fine. That corridor from C2, but with a sign with an unfamiliar location name. After that, we have a long staircase heading up that's passcode protected, but then we're given the code. The VIPs are supposed to want to be scared, so I wonder what could be awaiting them past that door. That's all there was for a time. However, the release of IMSCARED Mobile gave us one more interaction with Restorer with an IMSCARED Steam edition. A note can be seen on the archive front counter. It reads as follows. And that's the last of Restorer for IMSCARED Steam Edition, as well as the IMSCARED ARG. We're not done yet though. I specified Steam Edition because Restorer can be found in mobile. Kind of. When the game asks for Whiteface's name, you can immediately put it in, of course. However, there will be text questioning if you played the game before. Considering that within canon, Restorer is the one porting the game around, it's obvious it's her. Also, her personality does shine through the text a little, depending on the option chosen. Now, I want to point out something from Remnants of a Scares demo. There's a portion in the car park where you can trigger a malfunction and get into an area Restorer doesn't want you in. In that back area, there are corridors, just like in those cold videos. The textures, signs, almost everything. We do not see a sign to a place called building, but we can see the VIP code pad from the VIPs only video, though it cannot be interacted with at this time. As of the demo, there's also no snow, so where exactly those locations are is still unknown. We'll just have to wait for either future updates or for the whole game to come out. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I wanted to talk about I'm Scared for a long time. Remnants of a Scare getting a demo release seemed like a good time to get the ball rolling, as well as people wanting a full coverage video when checking out my previous exploration videos I made back when I played the game for my channel. I could talk about this game a lot more, but I wanted to focus on just the ARG for this video. I could go on about Restorer as a character and her turning entities into data, the base game and what it could all mean, my thoughts on Castle Kid, whom I did not really mention here, unused but accessible maps, and more. If you want those, then let me know. I even have an I'm Scared iceberg script I've been sitting on for a good while now. That's all for the ARG coverage, but I want to talk about my personal experience with the ARG before signing the video off. If this is where you take your leave, then thank you once again. I hope I did the ARG good service with this video. If you're sticking around, then come with me once more as I delve into my experience discovering this ARG. I had not thought about I'm Scared since it came out on Steam in 2016. I had bought it and played it until the Labyrinth, in which case I got stuck and never played it again. I don't remember why exactly, but in January of 2024, when choosing a game to record, I chose to play I'm Scared. I had literally no knowledge about the game's contents, nor the 2022 update. I dove in, and roughly 5 hours later, I was running around the loneliness state of the world. I stopped recording, split it into 4 parts, and started working on thumbnails. It was then that I came across one thumbnail in particular when Googling sprites of Whiteface. This was either before I knew about Spider's resource, or I just did not think about it. I did not think much on the thumbnail. At the time, I thought Restorer was maybe the channel's OC or VTuber model or something, that they either had stylized like that, or it was a stylized look of whatever the OC normally looked like, to fit the I'm Scared pixel style. That was the only image of Restorer I found. Everything else when Google imaging I'm Scared Whiteface was either of Whiteface or her, which further drove my belief that the thumbnail with the Restorer was simply the channel's OC. It was only when looking for an image of the Labyrinth, for background purposes, that I discovered that Restorer was indeed not a channel's OC, but instead part of the game. My journey really had only just begun. In the secrets section of the fandom wiki, there's a mention of a faceless version of Restorer that is held just outside the map behind the hedge maze. The name Restorer had a link attached to it, and on the other side sat a page about a character I had never heard of before besides that one thumbnail. For the record, I've always been a fan of ARGs. Ever since Nightmind and his coverage of Marble Hornets, I have been a fan. A mystery that only keen eyes can see and even keener eyes can solve, sometimes hidden in plain sight, as was the case here. I'd never really had the opportunity to solve one firsthand, which made this even more exciting. Though at the time of seeing Restorer's wiki page, I did not even know this was an ARG. I do not remember how I discovered it, but I found the method of finding her in the 2022 test build. I did that, went back to Street in the full game, booted up that drift.ini file, and away I went. I talked to her, followed her to the archive without pissing her off, chose to be a worker, and talked to her on the roof. After telling me to touch grass is when I accidentally discovered the next step on my own. In my video, you'll hear me say that I was on my way to the Labyrinth when I made this discovery. I'm assuming it was because of that Labyrinth wiki mentioning the faceless Restorer statue. I probably figured that would come into play sometime, so I was going to check around the Labyrinth next. I was trying to press M to open the I'm Scared folder. At the time, I had that stupid OneDrive thing on, and the game put the folder in that OneDrive desktop. And when I tabbed back in the game, it didn't full screen, so I was holding escape to close the game. I was in basement when all this happened, and when I was holding escape, I saw that I also took Penelope message, flashing between the normal pause text. I was already planning to go to the Labyrinth, so I don't think I needed this message, but I would not have all the footage I do if it wasn't for that message. I immediately started recording again, went to the Labyrinth, saw those messages as I was approaching the Faceless Restorer statue, and got the error message. I did not know what exactly to do with that error message. I figured it was a code of some sort, but there's many different ARG code methods that I did not know where to possibly start. I did end up Googling the error code, and there was a Reddit post about the exact code, which led me to knowing it's part of the video URL. The video itself did not help me much, but some comments below mentioned that a spectrogram run of the audio yielded the Penelope does not exist message. That alone does not help, since I did not know where to put it, but I think that's around the time when I thought to look around the I'm Scared Steam installation path and found the branch folder with the does it QR code PNG. I do not remember if I found a video or what, but in my video covering this part of my exploration, I said I looked around a little more to discover these next steps. I cannot remember exactly what the looking around more was, but I do not think I would have said that if I found it on my own. Still, I brightened up the copy of Does It for the sake of showing how to do it, and went to the hidden itch page for those downloads. Now, I do remember how I found out what to do with Attraction.win and Game Changer. There used to be a YouTube channel called something like 6 Did For Me, playing off the 6 Will Do when you have to kill her. I tried finding the channel, but it's either been deleted or rebranded because nothing showed up when I was looking for it. Anyway, they made a not so subtle video about what to do with these files, which helped me greatly. Looking back on the itch page when scripting this video, it's pretty obvious with the download being called branching ... But the game changer still wasn't too obvious. So I guess there's only so many places it could have gone, so... With those files in their appropriate spots, I hopped in the game and dove in blind. That being said, I am not the biggest fan of the blind game. I know it's the whole premise, but man is it so annoying to navigate. Though as of the time of writing this, I've completed it 3 times now, so maybe it's not too bad. Once for my original exploration, a second time when I downloaded a mod and forgot to make a backup of the IMSCARED folder, and a third time when I got a new PC. I did think about transferring my IMSCARED folder from the old to the new, but I'll always take an excuse to play IMSCARED. Plus, it was more streaming content. When IMSCARED Mobile came out, I was all over that. I made a video right after work that day, playing the whole thing. I bring this up for 2 reasons. At this time, Restorer, in canon, I wanted to limit the ARG, and that she did not include her stuff in mobile, and made the Steam Edition not allow anyone to interact with her. Though I do not remember why she wanted that for the Steam Edition. If she wants to fill this dead world, as she says, with players, then why limit the ARG reach? That idea has since been reverted, so anyone can do all the ARG stuff now. The other reason was because there was a cheeky little video that someone posted to do a little trolling. And I'm going to go off the script for a second here. So to get footage with Neo for this video, I went ahead and streamed the game pretty recently, but apparently you can't access some of the ARG segments. Like you can do the test build stuff and talk to Restorer in Street, and she'll lead you to the archive, but after she vanishes for the first time, you cannot find her on the roof. And because of that, you cannot trigger her stuff in the labyrinth either. In fact, as soon as you enter the archive for the first time, the archive is already fully put together, and the little letter that she leaves is already on the front desk table thing. So I don't know if this is intentional, if this was the result of taking the stuff away and then re-adding it in. I don't know what's up with that, but as far as I can tell and stuff I've tried, you cannot access, you cannot get some of the interactions that you were previously able to. You can still technically go to that unlisted video, the hijack video, access the website and download the files. I was able to do that. And you can put in the attraction and game changer files in the thing, and you can still do the blind minigame. You just can't access some of the dialogue, some of the interactions with the Restorer in between the first and last interaction. So I don't know what's up with that. But if you notice a perspective change in my video, that's why. Because I didn't know that was a thing until I got to that point in my stream. So yeah, I think that wraps it up. I did not expect to be wrapped up in this game as much as I was when I first played this in 2024, but here I am. To be fair, I had no idea there was a whole ARG hidden inside the loneliness state of the game. If I had gone straight to the sprite's resource instead of Google imaging Whiteface's sprite, then I may never have known about it. The ARG is really just the tip of the iceberg. The main game has a lot to discuss, Restorer herself has a lot to discuss about, and there's mysterious maps, other entities such as Castle Kid, and more that are not crucial to the ARG that can be discussed. If anyone wants any of that, then do let me know. If you stayed to listen to my personal experiences with this ARG, then thank you. I hope this video was both enjoyable and informative. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you all for our next voyage.